aren't paying taxes. That's a large percentage now. It's a number that's approaching or exceeding 50%. And the lowest bracket would receive a 50% tax increase if the Bush tax brackets were allowed to expire. I think this is just another one of the class envy pieces that the president has done. He's been dividing people down along whatever lines he can demographically to try to win an election.
What do you mean class envy? I mean, how is that class envy? Explain to me that position.
How does, I'm sorry?
You say this is a class envy play by the president. What do you mean?
Oh, yes. Well, if you demonize the people that are making over $250,000 a year and you say they aren't paying their fair share, if you go back around and ask the American people what is a fair share, they'll know that the people over 250 are paying a lot more than the people making less than 250 think they are. That's the class envy piece, and you can always make the argument that you want to raise the taxes on somebody else. So the president doesn't think he gets a lot of votes out of that group. It's a small demographic group, and he thinks he gets more energy and more from his base if he just simply targets people making over 250,000. But that's where the jobs are created.
Let's look at some of the polling here quickly. I want to show you that a majority of people would support this proposal of overextending tax cuts for all people. Take a look. This is increasing taxes on people making more than $250,000 a year. Democrats, 83% of them favor it. Independents, 63% favor it. Republicans, only 37% favor it. So you can see this is where there's a real ideological difference here on the tax front. And that's something that both sides are playing into, of course, in an election year.
Well, and I see this, and it's a shift within the culture that I think that poll reflects. And that says that there are more and more people that are looking at others saying they shouldn't be making that much money because I'm not. And they don't feel as much guilt about the 72 different means-tested welfare programs that we have. This country shifted around to the point where if you go back to Franklin Delano Roosevelt and he put out the four freedoms, one of them was freedom from want, the other one was freedom from fear. Those two were manufactured freedoms. Today, it's almost a government guarantee of a middle income standard of living from all of these programs that we have. I like an America where people look around and they feel some guilt about that, and they want to step up and help and carry their fair share of the work.
Well, so
we have too many Americans not contributing to the gross domestic product in the United States today.
So you're saying the president's talking about fair share, saying that people above $250,000 a year should pay what he says is their fair share. Are you saying that poor people and people in government programs are not paying their fair share, that's not fair?
I don't even think that's arguable. If they aren't paying federal income tax, and that's a number about 51% of the working households aren't, yes, there are taxes paid in property tax and sales tax and those kind of things. But if they're not going to work, and there's a number approaching 100 million Americans of working age that are simply not in the workforce, and that includes the 13 million that are unemployed. Some can't do anything about that. Some aren't willing to do anything about that. When you add that all up, roughly a third of Americans of working age are not contributing to the gross domestic product of the United States.
And whose fault is that?
They should
is that
do
because the
their fair
economy
share.
is not giving the opportunities it used to?
I think that one of the things is that people are told that they don't need to create opportunities. It's up to somebody else to offer them a job. I heard that with the people that are occupying Wall Street. There's certainly that theme there. So once you get that into the minds of people that it's not their responsibility, they don't step up to the responsibilities Americans have traditionally had. And that's a negative to our country. And the president promotes those things with these kind of